Hi guys, and welcome back to Climbing Daily. Hugo is back.
Hello!
And on this week's show, we've got the breakdown of the first Boulder World Cup of the season. We chat about the latest 9B sends, and make sure to stay tuned for the foamy deal of the week.
Do we talk about the controversy?
Yeah, right away, because we have to talk about the first Boulder World Cup of the season, which took place in Hachioji, Japan. The IFSC season has started with the first World Cup in Hachioji, Japan. The boulders were really hard, featuring new holds and totally new moves, which were tricky to read. In the women's final, Janja Gambert was missing, since she's recovering from an injury, and the star of the show this time was Brooke Rabatu. The Olympian was on fire, topping out 3 out of the 4 boulders. When she walked out for that final climb, she already won, but still gave it her all. She was the only woman to get the zone and the top of the final boulder. She really earned that gold medal. She was followed by German climber Anna Moyle with 1 top and 2 zones, and 19-year-old Japanese climber Anon Matsufuji in just her second Senior World Cup final, and she got the bronze medal. In the men's finals, we saw some veteran climbers, like Kokoro Fuji and Jong Won-chon, but the new generation really shone through. 19-year-old Paul Jenf only topped the second slabby boulder, which was set with some new 360 holds. This, with 2 other zones, was enough for 3rd place. It was the first Senior World Cup final for 18-year-old Belgian climber Hannes van Duysen, and he topped the men's boulder number 2 in 1 less attempt than Paul Jenft, which was necessary for a 2nd place. Mejdi Schalk was in a league of his own. With his iconic, quick, dynamic and bouncy style, he was the only climber to top boulder 1 and 2. And here's an update from our foreign correspondent, Matt Groom.
Hello everyone, I'm in South Korea for the next World Cup, but let's talk about Japan. And by now you already know the results, so I won't go through all of that. But I did want to talk about 2 things. Number 1 is the sheer emotion that was in the women's final. I have never experienced anything like it. Brooke Rabatu taking her first gold medal, and as she was topping it out, you could see her realise what was happening, realise what she'd done. She started to cry. Most of the audience started to cry. I had a tear in my eye. Quinn Mason, who was next to me, her teammate, well, I mean, obviously for her and the rest of Team USA, imagine all the training, the grit, the blood, the sweat, the tears, all of those things coming together at once. It really was very special. And I just wanted to tell you because, yeah, it was unique. And also Hannah Moyle on the podium. Her teammate Christoph Schweiger had been tragically killed before he could come to Japan. She had his name written on her arm, she had his pass in her hand, and oh my goodness, it was just one of those moments that transcends sport, and it's what makes sport so important, so had to highlight that. The second thing was the controversy around the men's final boulder. Now, the wall in Japan featured a 90-degree corner, and that meant that the route setters could try something different. Initially, I and a lot of people thought it was a kind of stemming, bridging move, but actually it was facing out towards the audience and jumping up into a big press. Now, none of the athletes could figure that out, so none of them could do the move. It did make for a little bit of a, well, let's say boring final boulder perhaps. But talking to route setters after the event, they were saying that this is how the sport progresses, that unless sometimes they put something in that the athletes haven't seen before, then the athletes aren't going to learn. And Mejdi, after the competition, went back, knowing the beater, and he did the entire climb in his trainers. It looked about 6A. So it just shows how important reading a route correctly is, and how much the athletes need to know about certain moves and certain holds in order to do them. So perhaps in the future, if we see a jump like that, they'll know what to do. I mean, think of that crack in Meiringen a couple of years ago that only Ondra could do. From then on, we've seen other cracks in competitions and athletes have got better at it. So maybe you do need a few boulders that are too difficult or a bit weird so that they can progress and develop their skills. I don't know, you let me know down below what you think. Now, if you want to know the full results, there's a write-up on UKC, or you can go back and watch the broadcasts. We'll move on now to the speed and boulder rounds here, before moving on to Jakarta for another speed round. So it's a packed schedule. I loved every second of Japan, and thank you for watching if you did. See you soon.
That was pretty incredible.
Yes.
A lot of news coming from that.
A lot of news. Thank you for the update. And Matt Groom.
Very emotional Matt Groom, got to have to say.
Tear in his eye. I feel he used that a couple of times. Also, like if you practice crying, you cry more easily.
But also when people can't see you, you have to kind of people can't see you, so you have to tell them that you're crying.
Well, you can like sound it in the voice.
True.
No.
Did he not? I missed that bit.
I didn't actually watch it live.
I think I was crying.
You were crying?
So I had to turn it off, yeah.
I gotta say, there were a couple of new things, like move, that last boulder in the men's that, Mejdi solved afterwards was pretty cool. But then in the men's final, we also saw some new, shiny, black and white holds.
Right.
Which stirred quite a big controversy on social media.
True.
So if you fancy reading for a while a good comment section of climbers going back and forth whether it was fair or not, look for that post on the IFSC Instagram.
In a bonus section to this news show, Teresa Corti will read out her favourite comment section from that comment section.
I get it. Like, I enjoyed it. There were a couple of good comments. I gotta say, I like the holds. It's a new challenge.
Can our comment of the week section be from that comments?
They were quite lengthy responses.
Okay.
But did you like the holds? Like zebra?
I did.
Where's Waldo?
They looked amazing, definitely.
Yeah.
And as with regards to the texture of them, I'm not.
You gotta find it.
Well,
it's like climbing outdoors.
But
where's the challenge or else?
But where's the? There is controversy in the Japanese. We heard that the Japanese climbers team had bit more access to them than other teams.
I don't know which team had more access to them, but yes, some federations maybe tried them out more than others.
Unconfirmed.
I watched this news quite late, so I don't want to get the wrong country.
Okay,
but
cool.
Anyway, like in climbing, in any other sport, like some people are gonna have certain advantages.
Sure.
No,
true. And I read through that comment section. I felt kind of bad for 360 holds because I don't think it was a native speaker trying to argue
all the
their
haters.
case. And,
I like the reply. He was just confronted it,
Yeah, no, it was good. But no, other than that, it's interesting that obviously I always like this kind of period where there is like the passing of the torch. So you see the younger guys coming through.
Yeah, and on the men's podium, no one was, older than 19.
That's the thing.
Teenagers.
Like all of a sudden, going from being these guys that are like in the Junior World Championship Tour, all of a sudden they're on the Senior World Championship Tour, and it doesn't seem like that's that big a gap, that big a jump, and they're just not straight away on the podiums. But Meji Schauk hasn't been around for long, He's been climbing on the tour for a couple of years, and to see him on the top of the boulder on the top of the podium is that's amazing. I think it's obviously the first step in the new direction of like the new guys coming through.
Indeed.
It's
and then
exciting.
it was so cool seeing Brooke get their first gold medal. Like she's always been there, like on podiums, in finals, at the Olympics.
Yeah.
But first gold. So that was pretty emotional to see. And she kind of did a Yanya because she topped a lot of boulders. Well, 2 boulders more than the other women. So
she destroyed it.
Very, very, very cool to watch.
Okay, next up, we've got some 9B climbing news. As reported on Planet Mountain, 19-year-old French climber Loïc Zahani, who lately has been making waves with his hard first ascents, this week he added another one to his name, Mosul. The route is located in Orgon, which was a popular crag in the 90s in France. For this climb, he proposed a grade of 9B/+. As reported on AA.nu, Italian climber Stefano Carnati climbed his first 9B with Erebor. Stefano Gazzofi initially graded this power endurance test piece at 9B/+. However, it has seen a couple of repeats by Laura Rogora, Jakob Schubert, who climbed it in just 4 days, and Adam Onja, who believes it's a solid 9B.
Solid.
Do you remember that I made a prediction about Loïc Zahani? That he would become the next Sebois and therefore the next big thing. He's continuing on that.
Indeed, he is. Speaking not really about Seb though, Rio Rock is out. And there's a special episode on Jumbo Love. I don't know why I'm saying this, just because you mentioned Seb.
I think the link up there is that like Loïc Zahani is on the cusp of doing it. He just needs a Real Rock film to be made about him, and then he'll be like mainstream. I generally think that's the thing. Like he needs like a big like boost. I've been thinking about this a lot recently and why certain climbers and climbers do well. and it's like it's all about the
Real
story.
rock.
No, but it's a story. It's like the story behind the climber. And the way that the reason for me, the reason that Alex Honnold is like the most well-known climber in the world is because his story behind him is so like interesting. Like the fact that he's got like this thing with his brain and he doesn't quite think about like fear in the same way as others, kind of thing. And you know, there's so many like instances within sport where story is like just like puts climbers or puts like sportsmen to another platform. And I think sometimes that's maybe where climbing lacks a little bit. It's just like the story behind, like the controversy behind the climber, something that's kind of like puts them onto like a platform somewhat.
Basically, climbers need to be interesting.
No, I'm not saying they're not interesting. I'm sure they are, but like they just they need that kind of like extra bit. They need that thing that people kind of engage with. I know for like and for me, like they engage with Alex Honnold because they see it's kind of like almost his weakness is his strength. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like
I
that
think it's
Superman
also
type
like
thing.
extraordinary normal. Like, you know, he looks like a normal bloke. Like,
Yeah.
But then he can do these extraordinary things.
Yeah, he's like a superhero.
Kind of, yeah. And he does wear red shirts. I feel that helps with the whole imagery.
Yeah, true.
I saw this movie recently. I told you about it. It's like a highlight movie of mountains. I think it's literally called Mountains. And it's
yeah.
a really cool soundtrack and just like a couple of nice shots. And the first image is, Alex Honnold free soloing on a wall in Mexico. So like, I guess that's in the imagery of people.
There you go.
All to say that if Loic Zani gets a good filmmaker to climb around with him
Yeah.
and a real rock movie, we'll know more about him. Because I
Yeah.
feel like we don't know that much about him
Exactly. It'd be good to know more about him.
yet. Next up, we've got some Alpine news all the way from Alaska. As reported on planetmountain.com, from the 31st of March to the 2nd of April, Matt Cornwell, Jackson Marvell, and Alan Rousseau established a bowl direct line up the formidable east face of Mount Dickey, above the Root Glacier in Alaska. The route is called Aim for the Bushes, and it is a 1600 meters line graded I6, which is at the top of the scale, and M6 with an X grade, which probably means that it's very run out and falls would have resulted in serious injury. They went in this blind, climbing in true Alpine style and not knowing what difficulties they could find. With 2 BVs on the route, the physical and mental resilience of these 3 had to be huge. They descended the normal route in mere 2 hours and 45 minutes, which probably also counts as a speed record. So I gotta say, thank you, Thomas. He's a friend of mine who's like quite an avid like Alpine climber and said he cannot get excited about bouldering news. I feel ya. A note that he added to this long message that we should cover this type of news is that with these lengths and these grades, and to free it, and this first ascent is basically a harder version of the Eiger North Face.
Oh, wow.
So some serious climbing by those 3 guys. There's a longer write-up on Planet Mountain. Make sure to check that out. And next up, I cannot get excited about this anymore, but we've got bouldering news.
Yeah. 8a.nu reports that 36-year-old Dutch climber Michel Nijhuizen has made an Ascent of La Revolutionaire, an 80 plus boulder in Fontainebleau. The block has now seen 6 ascents after Charles Albert made the first ascent back in 2017, with fellow Dutch climber Tim Ruyser having recently repeated this route as well. When quizzed by 8a.nu about his tactic of climbing with one shoe, Michel said that he drew inspiration from Charles Albert and some alternative beta. I kind of feel like this is worth getting excited about.
No, I'm waiting for Stefano to send a 9A. No, I'm joking. Not
A
to
boulder?
do down. Yes.
True.
Not to, not be excited about his accomplishments. Yeah, the whole climbing without a shoe.
Backtrack. So one shoe on, one shoe off.
Interesting. 50-50.
Something to do with toe hooking. Like he had issues with the toe hooking beta, and without the shoe, he was able to claw onto it a little bit better. So he went down to one shoe. I think Tim Ruyser did it with 2 shoes. It's a pretty cool climb though, because it just kind of comes out of this like cave
Boulder
type thing. What did I say? Climb.
No, boulder. Thing. Boulder.
No, but
Climb.
it's like a boulder. It's a cave, basically. It's a cave problem.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Right, 9B counter.
So we've got a couple of people on the 9B counter this week.
Yes.
I feel Loic, I guess he wants 3.5 points with that /plus.
Yeah, let's give it to him.
3.5 points.
Whatever we can do to get him up there.
Get him up there. He might win this year if he starts,
I think he might, yeah.
The thing is that these are first ascents. Well, this is a first ascent.
Was this first ascent?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, should he get more points for a first ascent?
No.
I think he should.
Yes.
I think that should be the new rule. First ascents, double points.
Oh gosh, this is controversial.
Controversy.
Guys, write it in the comments below. And then the second one, Stefano Carnati gets 3 points for his first 9B.
That's a big step for him.
Indeed. And he's like a weekend warrior, like goes to university and, climbs 9As over the weekend and 9Bs now.
Yeah, I'm always impressed by weekend warriors. Putting away the temptation of what a normal weekend warrior would do at the weekend. A party weekend warrior to turn into a climbing weekend warrior. It's always impressive. Anyway, 9B counter, done. Are we doing a drum roll? Sorry.
I don't know how to do a drum roll.
Okay, but that's good.
Because that's the hint.
Right,
that's the hint. This week we've got a discount on Snap bouldering pads, and
Yes.
I'm holding our Snap boulder pad. These are quite old, but if you want to get new bouldering pads, check out the EpicTV shop because this week they're up to 50% off.
15.
15. Sorry, not 50. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, that's fine.
It's
a bit disappointing. A bit down from 50 to 15.
Sorry,
but,
boulderers.
we couldn't really afford to give 50% off.
15.
Yeah, but 15% off is still pretty good.
Yes, especially for Snap pads because they're quite good and light to carry around. I mean, there are many bouldering pads brands out there, but Snap actually, invests into light foam technology.
I know that you're not a boulderer, but if you had to buy a bouldering pad, what would it be? I know you can only really say Snap.
I can only say Snap now.
What about this one? Have you used this one? Have you used this one to actually boulder with?
No, we had that other one, the other green yellow Snap one.
Yeah.
That's quite handy with the pocket for the shoe mat, which is quite. Yeah, I mean,
Just a little scrapey before you get on the climby.
Yeah, it's quite handy.
Nice.
I mean, you don't want to go in front with like dirty shoes, so bring around a mat,
scrag.
fold the bouldering mat.
Indeed.
What have we got this week on EpicTV?
Media-wise,
Yes,
EpicTV Climbing Daily, there is an interview with Robbie and Seb.
Berthe, because he flashed Le Voyage, and Robbie climbed it as well, so check out the teaser.
The crux of the route is about midway.
The crux of the route is basically like a boulder problem with the good crimps.
You definitely don't enter the crux completely fresh because although there's a rest beforehand, it's not a rest that you can get everything back on.
You start from like a finger jam, which is quite okay. Like it's from where I put my last piece of gear.
I would say that the boulder grade of the crux is about font 7A+.
So there are different beta for this crux.
There's two ways of doing it. There's the way that I did it, which is the same way that Siba and Jacopo did it. And there's also the way that Seb did it.
I kind of decided in the last moment to between the two beta, and it actually worked. So I've never tried the other beta.
I'd say if you're strong and you want to get through it quick, go for Seb's method. I'd say if you're weaker and you don't think you have the power to reel in that crimp down at your hips, then you'll go for my method, which is getting your hips close into the wall, gastoning these little presses, and just generally trying to keep all the weight through your feet.
That was a little interview with Robbie and Seb.
Indeed. Yeah.
You know what the common denominator in between those two is?
Do I?
Have a think about it.
Robbie and Seb.
Why were they climbing together?
Because they're friends.
Why are they friends?
Because they have the same sponsor.
Very good. Which
Actually?
one?
Scarpa.
Very good. You deserve a round of applause for that. That was very good.
I was like, Edorid, but then Robbie isn't. I don't think he has a gear sponsor.
No, doesn't.
So,
Well
why
done.
is there a movie coming out? Is that?
Yeah, Robbie's got a video going to come out on his YouTube channel.
But we have the interviews.
But we have the interviews.
So this
But I'm
is
sure
a little
he'll- well,
prequel
yeah,
to the videos.
I'm sure his video will have more climbing footage than we had on ours.
We had some climbing footage. We used all the pictures we could find.
Exactly. Right, next comment of the week. Yeah, I've got one. It's from Mode Elite, who says, could add Anna Leitonen a Clatter Masters 9A to the 9A roundup. She's the first Finnish woman to climb that grade.
But yeah, we spoke about it in a news show. You didn't watch them, Hugo.
Why Mode Elite? Why have you commented that then?
Because they probably also missed the news show. It was 2 weeks ago, I believe.
I was sick.
No, you have to watch your kids.
No, I was sick.
Hugo, pick an excuse.
I was in bed. It was terrible.
And you don't watch the Climbing Daily Wednesday news show?
Not when I'm sick. I'm sorry. I was in bed. I was basically almost died.
Are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm fine now. Thank you.
You look good. You cut your hair. Anyway, a lot of comments were about Burden of Dreams and the replica, and if the sessions on the replica should count. I actually spent the weekend with Stefano Ghisolfi, who's trying Burden of Dreams, and he tried the replica a couple of times. And he was saying, like, it helps. Like, you know.
It counts.
Well, maybe it's a separate counter, because, like, what if you flash the boulder after? Like, what if somebody actually tries the replica for, like, 3 years and then rocks up to Finland and flashes it?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I don't want to quote him saying the wrong thing now, but I honestly think it kind of counts. Because the replica holds apparently are smoother. So if you can do the moves on the replica, well, you're going to do them outdoors because there's more friction and the holds are sharper and rougher. So, I mean, it counts.
Do you think Stefano's going to send it?
I really hope so. Like, I'm not excited for bouldering news, but he was so keen and he was so excited about it. So, yeah, very best of luck with that boulder.
Does he think he's going to send it?
I think he was really psyched, and his friends were like, if he's really psyched, something special can happen. So, I mean, we're all rooting for him, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my other question is Will Bose now a boulderer or is he a sport climber?
Why?
Because he's always been like a sport climber. Like, he's not really been a boulderer.
Doesn't
Now
he
he's
do
like,
both?
I mean, now he does, but he's like suddenly become like the best boulderer the best boulderer in the world, pretty much, by sending 2 9As. And I'm sure that like he used to be like he was like a sport climber, like.
Yeah, he climbed a bunch of stuff down in Spain last winter. I don't know. I'm sure people will tell us in the comments.
Since he's grew his beard, I think he's become a boulderer. That's my theory.
He's not wearing a beanie though in the videos.
He's setting his own standards. He's a Scottish boulderer. He doesn't care about that stuff.
Oh, right.
He's got a beard. That's his equivalent.
The beard.
Yeah.
Oh.
No other boulders have got beards, have they? Setting new standards. Well done, Will Bosey.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next news show.
Bye.